Hi, it's Matt Moran with the IT Career Toolkit podcast. And first of all, I have to apologize for not having this out yesterday. I could make the excuse the poison oak that I currently have right across my eye here, but that's not really it. Just got busy with a client and their project took priority, certainly, over my podcast. I had to get some things done for them. So, today's podcast and topic comes from an email I received, and I might lose a viewer over this, but I've received several comments like this over the years, or I'm asked this question often, and it always surprises me. And the question really, just to summarize, was he was asking me how he deals with being asked to do things that aren't part of his job description. And this, my response to that is, what are you thinking? You should be excited that you're being asked to do things that are outside of your job description. As a matter of fact, you should be looking specifically for those opportunities to take on new projects, new skills. The misnomer is that I'm not being paid to do this, I shouldn't do it. And my take on that is you should be taking on whatever responsibilities that would be involved in the next role you think you need to take. Now, I know on the flip side, I'm going to hear from people that say, oh, but, I'm always being asked to do these things. I'm never given the position. And so I'm going to fall back on the idea that a couple different topics or concepts you need to get a grasp of. First of all, I don't believe that. I just don't believe every company you're at is looking to take advantage of you. I don't have that mindset. They're simply trading value. If you don't like the agreement you're part of, you need to change the agreement. But you should be always looking to add more value to your company, be the most valuable person that they have, not gauge what you do based on what other people with your job description do, or that's a task that would be given to me if I were a supervisor or a project manager. Instead, take on the role before you ever get it. And it isn't that you work at it for 2 months and suddenly, well, I should be getting a promotion. You might work at it for a year or 2 years. Now, I think you certainly need to talk to your boss about that and say, hey, I'm taking on these roles and I want to. Give me everything. I want to take on these responsibilities. I want to be successful at them. And then I want to move into this role. Just matter of fact, this is what I'm going to do. If you don't have that kind of relationship with your direct supervisor or the management at your company, you need to ask yourself if you're in the right place or if you're the right person. What I don't believe also is that every manager is incompetent, and the mindset that typically is coming from this perspective of I'm being asked to do things that aren't part of my job description is very much an us versus them, keeping a ledger of every little thing you do to make sure you're compensated exactly for those things. And I don't think that's the way you get advancement. As a matter of fact, I know it isn't. And so if you have that perspective, you need to drop it. If you are working at a place that consistently doesn't seem to respond to you taking on those responsibilities with pleasure, meaning that you enjoy doing it and you're going after it because that's what you want to do, you want to accomplish. If you're working at a place that doesn't recognize that and you can't have those frank discussions, then look elsewhere. That's just simply the facts. So, to the person asking, how do you deal with somebody handing you responsibility that isn't part of your job description? Thank them. You should be thanking them for giving you that opportunity. Secondly, because I never looked at my job description closely enough to know what my responsibilities were, I was more interested in always taking on more than those responsibilities. I'll attribute this back to Barbara, who I worked for at Blue Cross, and she pushed people consistently, and I'm thankful for that because I saw her take on responsibilities in her department that were not part of her department's responsibilities. She absorbed new departments and new people into her department, and her department grew and her responsibilities grew with that, and so did her position. So once again, you should be thanking people that hand you jobs or tasks that are outside of your job description, whatever that means. This is Matt with the IT Career Toolkit podcast. Thanks.